हेलो एवरीवन, वेरी गुड इवनिंग। वेलकम टू टेस्टबुक सुपर कोचिंग फॉर रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज और पीआईबी के सेशन में आप सबका स्वागत है। बिफोर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट दिस सेशन, आज के सेशन को शुरू करने से पहले, स्टार्ट करने से पहले, जस्ट वन सेक। जी हाँ, इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस, एनी क्वेरीज, एनी काइंड ऑफ डाउट, सो प्लीज लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. We'll discuss about some important PIB notifications, announcements, as well as some schemes which were announced in the PIB or discussed in the PIB. So we'll talk about that. Uh, Under this today's discussion, obviously, there is one important day, but the importance of that day is not that crucial for the exam, but the schemes and the yojanas and the initiatives oriented or dependent on that particular day will be really very crucial. At the end of the session, we are also going to talk about some important aspects. For example, we are going to talk about some scheme and the recent numbers under that scheme. So all those things, all those concepts we are going to discuss in today's session. So I will start the session, and before going to start this session, if you have any questions, queries and doubts, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, now the comment section के अंदर, if everything is okay, so again we'll start with the session की शुरुआत करते हैं. Sorry for the inconvenience due to some technical reasons. थोड़ा सा सेशन हमारा रुक गया था. नाउ वापस मेरे ख्याल से अगेन ये रेज्यूम हो गया होगा, तो हम स्टार्ट करते आज के इस लेक्चर को. जी हाँ, जस्ट गिव मी द अपडेट. एक बार बस मुझे अपडेट दे दीजिएगा. ओके, फाइन, ठीक है. शुरू करते हैं, वापस एक बार स्टार्ट करते हैं. वेरी सॉरी फॉर द इनकन्वीनियंस ड्यू टू सम electricity fluctuation, everything went black. So chalo, I will discuss the news with you. I will discuss the important sections with you. Those who are yet to subscribe the channel, please एक बार channel को भी subscribe कर दीजिएगा. Now the first thing first, we'll start with the important day, but obviously they are not going to ask you that जनजातीय गौरव दिवस कब मनाते. Again, this question is not going to be repeated, but schemes oriented the tribal communities will be really very important for us. So 15th of November every year we are celebrating Janajatiya Gaurav Divas. That is the day which we celebrate in our country. So government of India every year celebrates this day in different locations of the country. This time the celebration was organized in Bihar. Bihar में से organize किया गया था. Now in the year 2021, government of India decided to observe this day. So in 2021, Prime Minister Modi announced that government is going to celebrate this day called as Janajatiya Gaurav Divas. So every year we are having different kind of policies around this. We are having different type of schemes or the programs around it. This time 150th birth anniversary of Birsa Munda ji was there, so celebration was quite a big, and Birsa Munda ji के याद में postage stamp as well as एक कॉइन है वो भी देश को सुपुर्द किया गया या देश के सामने इनॉग्रेट किया गया, तो वो भी एक फैक्टर यहाँ बनेगा. Now the major part which is important for our exam is that what kind of initiatives launched, inaugurated or foundation stone is being kept by government of India, the Prime Minister of India. So on the 15th of November, Griha Pravesh ceremony was there under Pradhan Janajati Adivasi Nyay Maha-Abhiyan. We'll talk about this Abhiyan in a while. Then mobile medical units were also dedicated by the Prime Minister under Dharti Aba Janajati Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. This Abhiyan is launched this year only. इस अभियान को इसी साल launch किया गया. We'll discuss about this yojana also. Then tribal entrepreneurship and education, Eklavya model residential schools were in news. We'll again discuss about this. Other than that, cultural preservation के एंगल में 2 tribal freedom fighters museum, one will be in Chhindwara and Jabalpur, and 2 tribal research institution, one will be in Srinagar and another will be in Gangtok. So these things were inaugurated or the foundation stone is being kept by the Prime Minister of India. Then infrastructure development again under the PM Janaman Yojana. So these were few initiatives which were in news. On 15th of November, Prime Minister inaugurated few of them. Now, the most important thing is that recently in the budget, in this year's budget, Government of India talked about Janajatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. Now, this is renamed as Janajatiya Dharti Aba Gram Abhiyan. ये नाम यहाँ पे दिया गया, Tribal Affairs Ministry के अंडर ही आता है. So, इसी साल की policy है. So, of course, we need to talk about that. This policy is focusing on the development of 63,000 plus villages. So 63,843 villages जो ट्राइबल विलेजेस हैं उनके ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट के लिए इस पॉलिसी को क्रिएट किया गया. So what kind of developments will be there? The 4 goals mentioned by the Tribal Affairs Ministry. The first goal is about the infrastructure development. Second is about the economic development. Third is about the education, and fourth is about the health. So these 4 things mentioned by Government of India for this scheme. Now total budget allocation is 79,156 crore is a budget allocation. How many villages? That is an important factor, will be for the exam point of view. Again, so total 17 ministries and different departments are going to work for the development of this scheme. So Tribal Affairs Ministry will be the apex ministry, no doubt about that. But there will be other ministries and the departments who are going to work with the Government of India so that they can make it a very good with this policy. So question definitely for sure for the regulatory bodies, for the NABARD and the RBI and for the IRD and the SEBI and the SEBI, in all these exams the questions will be asked, no doubt about that. Already they started asking questions around this scheme in some exams. So again, detailing is really very important for us, and इसी साल का scheme है, इसलिए हमारे लिए काफी matter करेगा. Now another scheme which was launched last year by the Government of India, the scheme was launched in 2023, called as a Pradhan Mantri Janajati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan. Now under this scheme, Government of India is basically focusing on the kind of empowerment for PVTGs. PVTGs is the major focus over here. So particularly vulnerable tribal groups is the major focus for this scheme. So question will be asked, ki Dharti Aabaz main focus is that all types of tribal villages, 63,000 plus tribal villages and 4 types of development. This Janaman scheme is focusing on the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, PVTGs only for those communities. So 24,104 crore allocation is there till the 25-26, which was mentioned by the Prime Minister last year. So these 2 schemes will be really very crucial because one was in 2023, another is in 2024. So of course questions will be asked, and a little bit difference is there exactly for whom the scheme is being created. Now there is another scheme which was also mentioned, called as a Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana. Now this is the Adarsh Gram Yojana. We have Dharti Aaba Yojana, वहां पे भी villages की बात की, यहाँ पे भी villages की बात है, और वहां पे 4 टाइप्स के गोल मेंशन किए गए, दैट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, इकोनॉमिकल, एजुकेशन एंड हेल्थ. When it comes to this scheme, it is majorly focusing on 36,428 villages. वहां पे 63,000 villages है, तो यहाँ पे villages थोड़े से कम है, and focusing only on the backward villages, or some facilities which are not there. But when it comes to Dharti Aaba, is a broader scheme. This is a kind of a narrower scheme. So villages का number भी यहाँ पे कम है, and only focusing on the aspirational facilities and the aspirational infrastructure around that, and that is a focus. So again, a difference between can be created or can be asked in the exam. Then a very famous scheme called as the Eklavya Model Residential School Scheme. It is a central sector scheme, comes under Tribal Affairs Ministry. सो ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज के बच्चों के लिए या ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज के लिए स्पेसिफिकली स्कूल क्रिएट की जाती है. इसको एकलव्य मॉडल रेसिडेंशियल स्कूल्स हम लोग कहते हैं. तो ये भी एक फोकस यहाँ पे रहेगा, जिसके बारे में एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं. नाउ अब ध्यान दीजिएगा, गवर्नमेंट हैज अप्रूव्ड टोटल 728 एकलव्य मॉडल रेसिडेंशियल स्कूल विथ 440 न्यू स्कूल्स. So that is another factor for the exam point of view. So these were the few schemes which were in news or under PIB. Basically PIB के अंदर इस स्कीम के बारे में मेंशन किया गया था. हमारे एग्जाम के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. इवन सोशल इश्यूज के पेपर में भी इसके बारे में कुछ सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं, तो ये भी हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर बनेगा. ठीक है. So that's all about the first thing, that is about the tribal ministry, जनजातीय गौरव दिवस and some schemes around that. Now another scheme. This scheme was also launched this year. इसी साल इस स्कीम को लॉन्च किया गया. दिवाली के दिन, धनत्रयोदशी के दिन बेसिकली इस स्कीम का अनाउंसमेंट किया गया. एंड द स्कीम इज कॉल्ड एज अ आयुष्मान वय वंदना. आयुष्मान वय वंदना. सो यहाँ पे कार्ड लिखा हुआ है. ऑब्वियसली स्कीम के अंदर कार्ड प्रोवाइड किए गए, एंड एवरीवन इन इंडिया नोज अबाउट दिस स्कीम. कि 70 इयर्स एंड अबाउट जितने भी बुजुर्ग हमारे देश में, उनको आयुष्मान भारत योजना के अंदर इंश्योरेंस प्रोवाइड किया जाएगा. 5 लाख का इंश्योरेंस दिया जाएगा इंडिविजुअल बेसिस पे. नॉर्मली वी हैव द आयुष्मान भारत योजना. आयुष्मान भारत योजना के अंदर हम यूजुअली पूरे फैमिली को, जो बीपीएल फैमिलीज है, उस पूरे फैमिली को 5 लाख का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्रोवाइड करते हैं फॉर सेकेंडरी एंड टर्शरी हेल्थ केयर. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू this Vayavandana, Ayushman Vayavandana, we are providing the 5 lakh health insurance individual basis, those who are 70 years and above. So it's a really very important scheme for the exam point of view. So question यहाँ पे आएंगे. Now why it was in news now? Because it was launched last year. Again पूरा 1 महीना भी होना है, but इस स्कीम के अंदर 10 लाख प्लस ऑलरेडी रजिस्टर्ड, 10 लाख से ज्यादा आयुष्मान कार्ड्स ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे प्रोवाइड किए गए हैं. अभी भी पूरा का पूरा 1 महीना होना है. ऑलरेडी 4,880 senior citizens they got the treatment and 9.42 crore worth of treatment availed by the senior citizens. That is another point mentioned by the government of India. So recent achievement is this 10 lakh plus registration under this scheme. अगेन 1 महीना होने का. देखिए इट वॉज लॉन्च ऑन नेशनल आयुर्वेदा डे, धन्वंतरी दिवस और धनतेरस जिसे हम लोग कहते हैं, एंड 12,850 करोड़ का ये स्कीम है. और जिस स्कीम के अंदर 70 इयर्स एंड अबव के लिए 5 लाख का यहाँ पे हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्रोवाइड किया जाता है. दीज आर द फैक्टर्स विच वी शुड नो अबाउट. ओके, नाउ अब ध्यान दीजिए, ये बहुत जरूरी है. So it was decided by the government of India during the Dhanteras, but the original scheme called as Ayushman Bharat Jan Arogya Yojana is from 2018. 2018 की ये स्कीम है. इसी स्कीम के अंदर ये 5 लाख का बेनिफिट दिया जा रहा है. अगेन दिस बेनिफिट इज ओनली फॉर द सेकेंडरी एंड टर्शरी हेल्थ केयर. सेकेंडरी हेल्थ केयर के अंदर बेसिकली डायग्नोस्टिक ट्रीटमेंट की बात होती है. टर्शरी हेल्थ के अंदर बेसिकली हम सर्जरीज के बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं. तो वही फैक्टर यहां पे एग्जाम के लिए रहेगा. एक और चीज, प्रधानमंत्री आयुष्मान भारत जन आरोग्य योजना की जब बात होती है तो इस योजना के अंदर जो भी बेनिफिशियरीज है 70 इयर्स एंड अबव, तो उसके लिए कोई कंडीशन नहीं है. 70 साल से अबव होंगे तो उन सबको मिल जाएगा. बट जो बाकी लोग हैं जिनको इस योजना के अंदर बेनिफिट चाहिए, उनके लिए कंडीशन है दे शुड बी फ्रॉम द बीपीएल. वो बीपीएल फैमिली से चाहिए. तो बीपीएल फैमिली किसके भरोसे डिसाइड करेंगे? तो 2011 में जो सोशो इकोनॉमिक कास्ट सेंसस हुआ था उसके भरोसे ये फैमिलीज डिसाइड की जाएगी, विच इज मेंशन्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. तो ये भी एक फैक्टर है. तो ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन है रिगार्डिंग द आयुष्मान भारत जन आरोग्य योजना. नाउ थोड़ी सी एक बात स्टैटिस्टिक के एंगल में कर लेते हैं. आयुष्मान कार्ड क्रिएटेड, सो टोटल आयुष्मान कार्ड क्रिएट जो किए गए हैं 17.87 करोड़ उसमें मेल है एंड 17.46 करोड़ फीमेल है. टोटल आयुष्मान भारत की अगर बात की जाएगी तो दिस इज द डेटा शेयर्ड बाय गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. देन ऑथराइज्ड हॉस्पिटल एडमिशन, अभी तक अगर हॉस्पिटल ट्रीटमेंट्स की बात करें तो 2.12 करोड़ मेल एंड 2.12 करोड़ फीमेल. तो एग्जैक्टली 50-50% का डेटा यहां पे दिखाई देता है फॉर ओवरऑल आयुष्मान भारत. बट ऑब्वियस है नाउ विच ट्रीटमेंट्स कैन बी प्रोवाइडेड, उसकी थोड़ी बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन मैंने डाल दी है ताकि थोड़ा सा आपको पता चले. जो जिनको इनके बारे में थोड़ी अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं होगी उसके लिए थोड़ा सा एक ट्रीटमेंट बेसिक क्या क्या हो सकती है. ऑब्वियसली ट्रीटमेंट्स बहुत सारी होती है, डिजीज टू डिजीज वैरी करती है, पर बेसिकली इन चीजों के लिए गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट करेगा, ऐसा उनका कहना है, ऐसा उन्होंने मेंशन किया है. सो ये हो गई 2 स्कीम्स जो हमें डिस्कस करनी थी, जिसके बारे में पीआईबी प्रेस इंफॉर्मेशन ब्यूरो में मेंशन किया गया था. अब थोड़े से एमओयूज डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, मेमोरेंडम ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग की बात कर लेते हैं. सो रिसेंटली वी साइन वन एमओयू विथ नेदरलैंड्स फॉर एग्रीकल्चर पर्पसेस. सो नेदरलैंड के साथ एग्रीकल्चर के चीजों को लेके हमने एक एमओयू साइन किया. ऑलरेडी नेदरलैंड के साथ हमारी बात चल रही थी, एग्रीकल्चर को लेके सपोर्ट चल रहा था. उसी सपोर्ट को रिफॉर्मेशन के अंदर या रिकन्फर्मेशन के अंदर एक एग्रीमेंट साइन किया गया. तो ये हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर बन जाएगा. अगेन एग्रीकल्चर इज देयर, दैट्स व्हाई क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड इन द नाबार्ड एग्जाम. Even the question can be asked in any other exam, a simple 1-marker question. So we need to focus on that. Okay. Now, what kind of agreement we signed with the Netherlands? Netherlands technical support and reaffirm the goal to establish 25 center of excellence by 2025 for agriculture. एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड के लिए हमारे देश में 25 सेंटर ऑफ एक्सेलेंस क्रिएट करने, मींस 25 हाई प्रोफाइल इंस्टीट्यूशंस क्रिएट करनी फॉर रिसर्च, डेवलपमेंट, इनोवेशन. एंड फॉर दैट पर्पस नेदरलैंड इज ऑलरेडी हेल्पिंग अस विद द टेक्निकल सपोर्ट एज वेल एज फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट. सो टिल 2025 वी नीड टू क्रिएट दिस 25 इंस्टीट्यूशन एंड नेदरलैंड इज द partner for us. So first question will be here. Even for your NABARD exam, it will be really very crucial. Then पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट एंड हाई क्वालिटी सीड्स फॉर स्मॉल फार्मर्स। इंडिया में ऑलरेडी सीड्स को लेके दिस ईयर इज वेरी फेमस फॉर सीड्स बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया रिसेंटली लॉन्च अ हाई क्वालिटी सीड्स considering the climate change. Again, even on the government national agriculture market portal, they launched some varieties of the seeds. So seeds is very much in news these days. So that's why this question will be really very important. Netherlands is helping us for the high quality seed development. That will be enough for the exam point of view, either for the NABARD or for any other exam. This will be more than enough, okay, when considering the exam. Now the next news is not about the of course next news is not about PIB or not about the MOU or any other thing, but it is about the wholesale price index. Of course, from the PIB we are discussing this wholesale price index. The last time we talked about the CPI, we talked about the IIP. Now the WPI numbers are there, and WPI numbers are absolutely not good again, just like CPI. CPI is already beyond the tolerance level. Our tolerance level is 4% plus minus 2%, and it increased beyond that. 6.21% is the consumer price index. Now let's see what WPI numbers are saying. So WPI numbers for the month of October, not also good, is not showing the good numbers. So Ministry of Commerce and Industry is responsible to provide the WPI. WPI is a monthly affair, and WPI consists of only goods or only commodities, no services considered under the WPI, and that is the biggest disadvantage of WPI when it comparison with CPI, because in CPI we calculate the goods as well as service. When it comes to WPI, we are only focusing on the goods. Now WPI, the base year is 11-12, so financial year is a base year 11-12, and right now the WPI numbers are 2.36% if we'll compare with the base year. Now when it comes to WPI, we consider three types of commodities. So primary article, fuel and power, and manufactured goods. So these three types of commodities we consider. Out of these three commodities, the highest weightage is been given. अगर हम वेटेज की बात करें तो सबसे ज्यादा वेटेज मैन्युफैक्चर्ड प्रोडक्ट्स को है, उसके बाद प्राइमरी आर्टिकल्स, देन फ्यूल एंड पावर. दे आस्क सच स्टैटिक क्वेश्चंस मेनी ऑफ द टाइम्स इन द एग्जाम. ओके, first of all, WPI, which ministry, what is the base year, then under WPI, which things we calculate, only commodities. Then these commodities are classified into three categories: primary, fuel and power, manufactured. So highest weightage is for the manufactured, then the fuel and then the primary, and then fuel and power. फूड इंडेक्स, ऑफ कोर्स इन सीपीआई एज वेल एज डब्ल्यूपीआई फूड इंडेक्स को भी अलग से मेंशन करते हैं. फूड इंडेक्स की इंफॉर्मेशन वैसे यहाँ पे होती है, बट वी आर मेंशनिंग इट सेपरेटली. सो इफ विल टॉक अबाउट द फूड इंडेक्स, ऑफ कोर्स फूड इन्फ्लेशन इज 11.59%, which is very high, and even in CPI it is in double digits. So that's the headache for government of India as well as for the Reserve Bank of India or the Monetary Policy Committee, and that is mentioned. When such kind of news are coming, which are the every month news like CPI, WPI, GDP, IIP, PMI, you just need to revise the static information. You just need to go through the static information, because sometimes we get confused about that. Okay. Manisha ji, this lecture is a weekly lecture. This PIB lecture is a weekly lecture. Okay, so every week we are discussing the PIB news on Monday 6 p.m. Whereas our current affairs sessions are thrice a week. Okay, those sessions at 9 a.m. Monday, then Wednesday, and then Friday. So 3 times a week we are discussing current affairs, 9 a.m. and PIB 6 p.m. only on Monday. Okay, I will move forward. Now this is another operation which was in news. This news is kind of a skipped by many people. This news is skipped by many students also, but will be really very important in future, because this operation called as a DORNagiri. DORNagiri is the name of the operation which was recently launched by for GDI marking. GDI is Geospatial Data Sharing Interface. So basically what is the purpose of this? इस पॉलिसी का पर्पस क्या है? जो नेशनल जियोस्पैशियल पॉलिसी हमने लॉन्च की है, हमारे देश के लैंडफॉर्म्स कैसे हैं, लैंडफॉर्म्स कैसे, कहां पे हिली एरिया है, कहां पे बेस है, कहां पे वाटर कंटेंट कितना है, मींस माइन्यूट टू माइन्यूट ईच एंड एवरी विलेज, ईच एंड एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट, बिल्कुल केयरफुली हमारे पास वो डेटा होना चाहिए. बिकॉज इफ यू वांट टू प्लान समथिंग, एनी काइंड ऑफ प्लानिंग, और when it comes to agriculture also, we will be having a proper and accurate data, and for that purpose this policy was launched by Government of India, and under this policy we launched one operation called as a Operation DORNagiri. Exactly what is going to happen in this operation, we'll discuss about that, we'll talk about that. Okay, first of all, it was by Science and Technology Ministry. Science and Technology Ministry is responsible with the help of IIT Delhi. There are other IITs, there are other institutions also, but in the beginning, Science and Technology Ministry and the IIT Delhi, these two, ye pehle yaad rakhega. Now, what is the purpose? So basically, what we are going to do, we are going to handle the whole geospatial data, focusing on agriculture, livelihood, logistics, transport. Okay, so we are going to collect the data. That data will be helpful for these sectors. In the first phase or in the pilot phase, because this operation is a new operation, so it's a pilot phase or the experimental based operation, and this pilot base will be implemented in Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Assam, Andhra and Maharashtra. So 5 states being chosen by the Science and Technology Ministry to implement this. के इसको implement करने के लिए, तो ये भी आपके लिए important रहेगा. ठीक है? So these are the other factors. Now when it comes to exam, remember one thing. के एक चीज ना बड़ी ज्यादा important है जो बताना चाहूंगा. करंट अफेयर्स की प्रिपरेशन के वक्त में कई बार ये सोचते हैं लोग कि करंट अफेयर्स इज अ पार्ट ऑफ मगिंग अप. लाइक 80% करंट अफेयर्स मगअप करने से हो जाता है, रटने से हो जाता है. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, बिकॉज मिनिमम 6 months करंट अफेयर्स यू शुड नो फॉर आरबीआई एग्जाम्स और फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ अ बिगर एग्जाम. मिनिमम 6 months. How it is possible that you are going to remember all the 6 months current affairs data? Absolutely not. Then what students are doing? They are trying to read the current affairs through MCQs. You are not giving SSC exam or the railway exam that if you solve few MCQs, your current affairs will be good. No, you are giving such kind of exam where they're asking current affairs in a very detailed manner. They're asking a minute points from your current affairs news. So in that case, you need to study in a detailed manner. You need to read at least for one time, at least for a basic understanding, you need to read the news properly. Then only the knowledge will be stronger. Then solve the MCQs, solve the n number of MCQs. But if for the first time, if you are going through the MCQs, then it will not be healthy for you. It will not be good for you. So remember one thing, quality matters a lot these days for our exam. Quality really matters a lot. And quality will get improved when you use some input, if you are going to invest some of your time. So don't take it lightly, because such kind of things are really very important, not only for the RBI Grade B's phase 1, for the phase 2 also, for answer writing as well as for the interview purposes. That's why we are reading in that angle. Okay. Now, sorry, there are some other departments also. So industry, corporate, startups, they are also going to work with this Science and Technology Ministry. Now look at this. There are other IITs like IIT Kanpur, IIT Bombay, IIM Kolkata, IIT Ropar, and then IIT Tirupati. So IIT Delhi is already there. There are other IITs like Kanpur, Bombay, then Ropar, Tirupati, and then IIM Kolkata. So these institutions are also working with Government of India for the DORNagiri. That will be important factor. So that's all from this news. That's all from this a pilot project or the operation of Government of India under Science and Technology Ministry. Now we'll go to the another news. This news is also related to Science and Technology Ministry as well as the Education Ministry. Both the ministries are there, and the news is depending on last year's policy called as a Anusandhan National Research Foundation, which was launched last year 2023. This year, for this foundation, we created one fund. For the same foundation, we created a fund of 1 lakh crore this year's budget. So 23-24. 1 year we launched the foundation, and the next year we launched the fund of 1 lakh crore around the foundation. Now they launch a new program under this foundation, Partnership for Accelerated Innovation and Research Program, called as a PAIR program. This PAIR program, name itself suggesting, focusing on the research and innovation, but for universities. So on the university level, Government of India wants to promote the research, development and innovation. So for that reason, what Government of India is doing, Government of India is collaborating small colleges, small universities with the bigger universities like IITs, IIMs are there, IISCs are there. They are doing a very good research and development, but the small institutions, they are not able to perform that well. So they are linking, they are pairing those institutions. So top 25 institutions or top 50 institutions as per NI, National Institute of Framework Ranking, that is a education institution ranking जो education ministry देती है, उसके हिसाब से top 25 big institutions, universities and top 50 big colleges, they will be linked with smaller colleges with the smaller universities from different states so that एक दूसरे को research और development के लिए help कर सके. So hub and spoke model हमारे पास है. हब एंड स्पोक मॉडल का मतलब है जो बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी है वो हब रहेगी और बाकी सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज उससे जुड़ी हुई रहेगी. दैट विल बी कॉल्ड एज हब एंड स्पोक मॉडल. सो इन दैट वे दिस पेयर इज गोइंग टू वर्क. ऑब्वियसली वी हैव द नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020. उसी एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के अंदर ये सारे R&D रिसर्च इनोवेशंस के ऊपर काम किया जाएगा. 2024 ईयर, अगर 2024 एटलीस्ट जब से नई गवर्नमेंट आई है तब से अगर आप देखोगे तो 2024 में काफी सारी पॉलिसीज R&D को लेके, इनोवेशन को लेके लॉन्च की गई है. सो मेनी पॉलिसीज रिगार्डिंग रिसर्च डेवलपमेंट, मेनी पॉलिसीज रिगार्डिंग इनोवेशन लॉन्च बाय गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. सो अनदर पॉलिसी फॉर यू. Now the next is very simple, very simple and the straightforward but very important. Okay, many students are definitely going to skip this news. Many RBI preparing students, they will say ki why we are reading this news, but this is really very important. This is about the sports. Basically, this news is about the sports. That's why many people are going to ditch this news. Now, recently, Sports and Youth Affairs Ministry launched one app called as a Know Your Medicine. For whom? For sports player. Because in India, what happens? You might have read about it. You might have heard about it. Many sports players, they're consuming some medicines which are not allowed to them. Because if you are a sports player, national, international player, there are some restrictions on your dietary things. There are some restrictions on your medicines also. Because if you are taking some medicines which are artificially enhancing your capacity, artificially enhancing your performance, then it's wrong. Then it's absolutely wrong. So some medicines are banned. So, but the sports players, they might be not knowing about it. Okay, might be they are consuming some kind of things in a friendly manner, but they are going to ruin their career, and that's why an app is being created by Government of India, Sports and Youth Affairs Ministry, called as a Know Your Medicine app. This app is focusing on the international norms. So when it comes to doping means taking restricted substances, consuming restricted medicine and substances is called as a doping. So when it comes to doping, there is an international organization called as a WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, and there is one national institution called as a NADA. So this app is being created by NADA, called as a National Anti-Doping Agency, but following the rules and regulations given by WADA. Obviously launched by our Sports and Youth Affairs Minister, Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya sir. So look, this is a NADA. 2005 we created. Ashish Bhargava sir is the Director General, comes under Youth and Sports Affairs Ministry, Mansukh Mandaviya sir. WADA is a World Anti-Doping Agency headquartered in Canada, Montreal. In 1999 we created this authority. So this is static information, but this is a very important news, especially when it comes to the sports affairs. So of course questions will be asked here. Okay, fine. We'll go to the next news, and the next news is about India, Bangladesh and Nepal. So our two neighboring countries, they signed one agreement in this year itself. The agreement is about electricity transmission. So this year means hardly, I guess, 1 month back, Bangladesh and Nepal, they decided to sign one agreement regarding electricity transmission. So Nepal is transmitting electricity to Bangladesh, but that electricity will go through India. So they are using Indian infrastructure for the transmission of electricity. So India's role is just like the minister's expression here, nothing, a neutral. So Manohar Khattar Saab is the power minister of India. So India's job is just to provide the infrastructure. We are not doing anything else. So Nepal will create the electricity and will supply it to the Bangladesh. So that's our job. Of course, this agreement was recently confirmed. This agreement was recently signed by all three parties. That's why was the news. Announcement was done last month, but now the final agreement is being signed. So that will be enough for us. Itna hamare liye enough rahega. Now there are some defense news. Now this defense news will be important for some Make in India angle or some Atmanirbhar angle. That's why we are discussing these news. The first news is about the Pantsir S1 air defense missile gun system. This is a missile gun system, okay, named as a Pantsir S1. This is a Russian missile system, and we sign agreement with Russia for this missile system. We are not only going to purchase it, but Russia in future going to manufacture or develop this system in India. So it will be under Atmanirbhar defense. So they are going to develop this system in India, just like we sign agreements recently with the Airbus. We sign agreement with the Dassault, which is a French company, in the same way. Now ध्यान दीजिएगा. So Pantsir air defense missile gun system is belongs to Russia. Russia की सबसे बड़ी system इसको मानी जाती है. So Bharat Dynamic Limited, which is an Indian company, they are going to work with the Russian company for this air defense system. This air defense system is one of the most sophisticated air defense system in the world. Now it will be with India in coming years. So we have this agreement with them. That's it. That will be enough. Okay. There is a total information about this air defense system is here. How many shots it can shoot. There is an artillery gun on this system, as well as how much distance it can cover. But for RBI, NABARD, SEBI, SEBI exam, this detailing is not that important. So you can skip this part. Just you should know this air defense system from which country, which will be important for us. There is another news, defense related. There are so many defense related news, but we are going to cover only few because they're important for us. Now we have another system called as the Akash weapon system. This is the Akash missile, Akash weapon system, and we are selling Akash weapon system for the first time to some other country, and that country is Armenia. So last time we sold the BrahMos missile system to Philippines. That time question was asked in the exam because India ने पहली बार किसी country को अपनी missile system बेची थी, and that was BrahMos to Philippines. BrahMos is created with the help of Russia, but India में उसका manufacturing होता है. Okay. वैसे आकाश missile system हमारी खुद की है, indigenous है, and we are selling this system to Armenia. We already sold them. So second country which is purchasing a missile system from India after Philippines, after BrahMos, we are selling Akash to the Armenia. India से सबसे ज्यादा weapons का purchasing करने वाली country is USA, and then France. France is the second buyer. Okay, they are purchasing huge amount of defense equipment from India. Why and how? Because with France and with USA, we sign such kind of agreements that we will having the agreement with their company. Initially, we will purchase few things from them. Then their companies will establish their units in India. So basically, their companies are manufacturing in India, and then they are selling it sending it back to the USA. So that is called Atmanirbhar Bharat. Usually, we sign such kind of agreement with Pantsir. Pantsir also with Russia, we also sign the same agreement that initially we will purchase a few weapon system, then you are going to manufacture in India itself. That's the Indian strategy these days. That's why our export is increasing day by day. When it comes to Armenia, Yerevan is the capital and dram is the currency. So this is a country which is surrounded by Turkey, Iran, then Georgia, then Azerbaijan is also there. Azerbaijan, Armenia, very conflicting country, and we have good relation with both the countries, Armenia as well as Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is in news right now because Baku, Azerbaijan's capital Baku, is organizing COP29, Conference of Parties 29 right now. Okay, this is the information about the Akash missile. For your exam point of view, you can skip this again. You can definitely skip this. For out of context or out of curiosity, you can read, but for exam point of view, there is no need to go through this data. Now, the last news of the day, which I am going to discuss, again, the Prime Minister of India inaugurated AIMS Darbhanga. In Bihar, there are two AIMS. One is in Patna, another will be in Darbhanga, and which was the foundation stone was recently launched or was given by the infrastructure project was launched by the Prime Minister of India. Now we need to discuss few things about this AIMS scenario. In India, if central government wants to create any kind of medical college, so we have the Yojana, we have the scheme for that, and the scheme is called as a Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana. So under this scheme, basically government of India is responsible to create any kind of medical institution, especially for education purpose. So remember that whenever Prime Minister is inaugurating some aims or keeping foundation stone for the infrastructure of aims. The question is there, and the question is under which scheme we are launching this. So Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana is responsible for that. Remember that. There's a whole information about Darbhanga aims. But if you are from Bihar, for interview purpose, you can go through that. Okay, if you are from Bihar and you are going for the interview, then you should go from this. They might be asked some questions. They do have the habit of asking few detailing. But if you are not from Bihar, this will be enough for you. Just you should know the name of the scheme. That will be enough. Okay. So yes, guys, that's all from my side for the day. यहाँ पे हम रुक जाते हैं कि these were the few important announcements under the government of India under this particular PIB section. So that's all from my side. I will send the notes on our Telegram channel. वहां पे मैं notes भेज दूंगा. वहां से एक बार आप जरूर attend कर लीजिएगा. ठीक है? That's all, guys. We'll see you tomorrow 6 AM. सुबह 6 बजे हमारा सेशन होगा कल, जहां पे करंट अफेयर्स हम नॉर्मल बैंकिंग के एंगल में डिस्कस करेंगे. ओके, तो दैट्स ऑल. बाय द वे, दोज हु आर फोकसिंग ऑन IBPS PO, इफ एनी वन ऑफ योर फ्रेंड्स आर फोकसिंग ऑन IBPS PO, 8 बजे, आज रात को 8 बजे एक सेशन रखा है IBPS PO के लिए. छोटा सा सेशन है, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट MCQs हम डिस्कस करेंगे. सो if you interested, you can join that session. I will share the link on our Telegram channel. Okay, that's all, guys. Bye bye, take care.